So she started, Hilton gets to DK. They start out talking about lifestyle, your upbringing. What kind of stuff were you doing back in the day? Where you from? How many siblings do you have? Do you have kids? All that. They started out with all that type of time, right? Of course, humanize him first so that if he says the right stuff, we can, make him look like a good, changed, remorseful guy and all that. So they start out with the lifestyle stuff, right? One thing that stood out to me, right, is that DK said he's been working at a manufacturing job for years. He actually said he'd been working at the manufacturing job after he got out of prison a previous time, right? He said he got the job while he was in the halfway house, got out while he was working. He got jammed up in this RICO indictment, and they still let him keep his job. When he got out from this RICO situation, he went back working there. I thought that was extremely telling, right? Now, when I say telling, I mean, he, like I said, when he got on the stand, he seemed like a good dude. And anybody that's willing to hold your job for you while you keep getting locked up, some people like you. You're a likable person. You understand what I'm saying? So that's one of them situations like the other guy, D'Angelo White, I was talking about. DK clearly is a charismatic young gentleman. He just got sucked into whatever lifestyle that he shouldn't have been sucked into, and he maxed out on that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? He went crazy. So being able to work a manufacturing job, go to prison, come out, be on the news for a RICO conspiracy, and keep your job and come out, that means people like you. That's what I'm trying to say. So he's a likable person, I'm assuming, because they fired Adrian Bean for being on the stand for a week. DK goes to prison. Yo, they say you shot somebody. Dang, that's crazy. Come back whenever you're done with that. Have y'all ever heard of a job just be like, oh, you shot somebody? Then they say you shot a couple people? That's crazy. But go ahead, go to jail. Go ahead and come on back. You got to be a good person. Like, people have to love you, right? So anyway, that stood out to me. And like I said, he's still working that job right now. So one thing that also stood out, he said him and Thug don't have a relationship anymore. He said the relationship kind of fell apart when he went to prison. They like, what happened? They like, I lost connection with all these people because when you go to prison, all the friendship, all that stuff stopped. Pretty much what people always say is that most people are not going to ride through a bid with you, and he pretty much let that be known on the stand that, people are not going to stand by you. Nobody ever sent me nothing. It was what it was. So from that point forward, I was focused on my kids, and that was the only relationships I was really worried about, was getting out and being a good father to my kids. That's commendable. So he pretty much said he never tapped back in with Thug after he got out of prison, right? That's not, from what we learned later on, it makes sense why, the whole thing happened. So DK said that one day he started calling himself Blood or SMM, but he didn't really, he was never jumped in. He was never initiated or anything like that. He said people used to actually accuse him of false flagging. So he brought up the fact that was a normal accusation that he had heard about himself, right? That's a smart thing. That's also what Trontavia Stevens said. If y'all remember, they said they just started claiming it one day. They never got put on or anything like that, which I honestly believe, because Atlanta, although there are gangs all over the place, they don't have the gang structure that would force them to do the normal initiation tactics that are in California. So they essentially, if there's a neighborhood leader that says, hey, we want to be something, they just can do it. That's how it goes in cities like this that are not traditionally gang cities, right? Most of these gangs in Atlanta popped up within the last 15 years. So that's not a gang city. Atlanta has been here and been black for a very long time. So for gangs to be 15 years old, for real, that's not a gang place. So they do what they want pretty much. So he said he was false flagging, he had to fight a lot in prison for stuff like that. So they asked him, so they show him a picture. Like I said, anytime that you say you're not something, they're going to bring up a picture of you showing that. So they brought up a picture of him from Twitter holding a hand sign, asked him what the hand sign was. He was like, it's funny, I never really found out what that meant. I don't know what it is, actually. He was laughing while he said that. So I'm assuming that he was just saying then that's crazy. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just doing it. And so then they asked him, of course, this is how this thing go. Miss Hilton asked him, so what is blat? You don't know what blat is? He was like, no, I don't know what that is. And of course, when they say something, he took a plea deal in this case. So, when you take a plea deal in this case and they ask you a question that they know the meaning to because you already told them you know what it is. She said, okay. And she went and got his plea deal, put it in evidence and said, let's read this for me. Go to this page. Go to page 3. Go down to number 6. What does it say right there? It says something like, I agree to testify to the best of my ability, truthfully, all that. So, Hilton is on him like, listen, man, I know you said you don't know what it is, but let's be real here. You already told us everything and you agreed to testify as part of your plea deal. Essentially, it's a threat. If you don't answer these questions properly, you're going back to prison. So stop playing with me. So she did that she did the whole rundown with the plea deal. You know how they do. Same thing they did to Trontavia Stevens. But Trontavia Stevens didn't remember it. He still didn't remember anything. I don't know how old I am. I don't know how old my kids are. I don't know what world I live in. I don't know what city this is. I don't know if I have 2 eyeballs or 5. Like Trontavia Stevens stood on his ground. DK, not so much. So DK says, YSL is just a group. But so Hilton brings the plea dealers up. It shows that he acknowledged that YSL was a gang. So anytime he answered one of these questions adversely to something that was in the plea deal, Miss Hilton went right to that plea deal and said, hey, you remember this that you said here? So they going through the whole thing. This is still the first day. Miss Hilton asked him, so how do you get in YSL? He's like, anybody can be in YSL. Like, she's like, is it affiliated with any national gangs? He's like, no, anybody can get in YSL. You can be Blood, you can be Crip, you can be Christian, you can be Muslim. She's like, so you say you can be any gang. So were there any Crips in YSL? He was like, he did try to take his time. He's like, yeah, there's some Crips in YSL. She was like, can you tell us any Crips that was in YSL? He's like, I can't really think of any right now like that. I can only think of one. She's like, who was it? He said, Duke.
Yeah.
Who or what?
I don't think it's just Blood. I don't think it's like no particular individual. You know what I mean?
So you said it was just Blood?
It was Blood, Crips. You could be anything to be wise. You could be Muslim, Christian. YSL, it wasn't you got to be this to be wise. No, it was just, you want to be YSL, you can be YSL. Nobody said you can't be YSL. A fan wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, YSL, you YSL. I'm not going to tell you not.
Okay. So YSL, you said, was made up of people who are part of other gangs, Bloods and Crips?
Yeah.
Okay. Who were some of the Crips that were a part of YSL?
Some of the Crips. I only know one. I don't know.
Which one do you know?
Duke.
Do you know Duke's real name?
Nah, I don't remember his real name. I don't remember his real name.
Do you recall in that same August 2015 interview stating that Pee Wee Roscoe was a Crip who was a part of YSL?
No, I don't remember saying that, but that's about right, though, I guess.
Do you know who Pee Wee Roscoe is?
I know who Roscoe is.
All right. Is he a Crip?
Yeah.
And
From my knowledge, I don't know if he a real Crip, but he could just be saying he Crip. I don't know.
And was he a part of YSL?
Yeah, he worked for Lil Joe.
She like, what's his real name? He like, I don't really know his real name. I just know Duke. Hilton, I put on Twitter that I need to know like what hood Hilton is from. Simone Hilton is from in Philly. I'm feeling like Hilton is from like a rough neighborhood where she don't like snitches. I'm gonna be real with you. The people that get on the stand that are like quote unquote snitches, she makes it so that you can't even fake like you're not a snitch. I'm like, you can't fake it. Remember I told y'all she paused the video to ask Detective Quinn, hey, what is Adrian Bean doing in this video right here? To say that he was eating, meaning like you told that's how you got a burger. Like Hilton is something up with Hilton when it's snitch. She don't like snitches. So she's like, yo, so I bring that up to say she makes sure that everybody knows you're a snitch is what I'm saying. She don't make it. She don't want to let you like get off the hook and like be kind of on the fence about did you snitch or not. Like how White got off and is like, I don't know nothing, that wasn't even me. To Atkins, Simone Hilton would have never let him get off the stand like that. She would have. He was going to be exposed as he was telling. Anyway, so DK goes forward. He's naming them. They like Simone Hilton is like, do you remember telling an investigator back in 2016 that Pee Wee Roscoe was a Crip? He's like, I don't remember saying that, but that sounded about right. She was like, so he is a Crip? He like, I don't remember saying it, but yeah, I think so. I don't know if he a real Crip, but I know he was claiming Crip. So I'm like, whoa. So that was the first day. So I'm like, all right, so now I'm coming to my head like, okay, DK is fully in line with I'm not with going back to prison. Like, I'm gonna do what's in this plea deal. I gathered that from day one. He is going to do what's in that plea deal. He's not going back to prison. That's the take I got on DK. Y'all let me know. She from North Philly. What part of North Philly? She from Erie Ave? Erie Ave is grimy. You know what I'm saying? I need to know what part of North Philly she's from. Because, there's some grimy parts in North Philly. I'm assuming she's from one of them parts because she's pressing the snitches. All right. She's putting them on the Summer Jam screen. All right. So DK did an interview with a detective back in 2016 or 2015 where he pretty much laid everything out. Right. So Simone Hilton, Miss Hilton referenced that interview many, many, many times. As I said before, if you think you're going to get up there on that stand and like say, oh, I didn't say it in court, so I didn't snitch. They're going to bring up everything you said in the past. And they have interviews, they have recordings, they have it documented. She from Allegheny? Okay. That's the hood. So she's from the hood for sure. So they're going to bring it up. You're not getting out of the snitching thing. So you might as well, if you told before, stand on it. And I'm going to say, this is why, honestly, I'm going to fast forward a tiny bit. This is why I kind of, even though I'm not with none of the tattletale type time, right? I respect what DK did more than Adrian Bean. Let's get into it real quick. What Adrian Bean did was first of all, he was willing to lie, put anybody in anything to get out of something. He even said, he bragged about, yo, I'll give him my cousin name and I'll be out of it. So you're going to commit a crime, give him your cousin name, mess his record up, and then they're going to let you go home. So anyway, he was willing to lie. He was willing to tell. He was willing to give information nobody was even asking for just to get up out of there. And then at 42, 43 years old, you in court acting like you're not a snitch and acting like you too good to go say the information again. You already said it. Don't say you don't recall now. Just stand on what you stand on. Stand on I'm a family man. I'm not in the streets no more. I put all that behind me. Stand on that. Because DK is standing on it. You understand what I'm saying? DK said, I have a manufacturing job. I have a good job. I left the streets alone. He said many times I was high. I was ignorant back in the day. I was saying stupid stuff all the time. I was saying stuff I didn't understand back in the day. And I don't live like that anymore. DK, you could tell he upped his vocabulary a little bit. Like his accent might still be strong, but you could tell DK has learned a new way of living, right? He's answering questions that I would have never thought a former gang member would answer in a courtroom. Now, of course, gang members tell all the time, but some of the stuff that he's answering could put his family's life in danger, honestly. But he's answering them though. You see what I'm saying? He's forthcoming with some of this stuff. He's correcting it. He's like, I don't know if I said that, but that sounds right. That sounds true. Like he's answering all the questions. So honestly, like I said, I'm not with any of that, but I prefer that don't be a snitch and then try to hide and act like you're not a snitch. Like, stop it. Adrian Bean, you thought because you wasn't in the indictment that they wasn't going to be able to pull your files and show the world what you did. Stand on it. You a family man now. You said 30, 50 times that you a family man. You put all that behind you. Tell these people what you told them before. You already told them. Look at DK. DK is a former demon. You know what I'm saying? You, Adrian Bean, was scared of this man. You talked about it on tape. We heard you. You were scared of him. He's standing on what he is. Hey, I don't need to call you nothing. But you standing on what you are. Running from it, you're not really a family man. Going up in court talking about, hey, I've been to prison before, I'll go back. You 44 years old. Why are you talking like that? Be a family man and tell these people what you already told them. It's on recording. They got you on videotape.